70, he reportedly died after going into cardiac arrest at his home. He won a Super Bowl in his 9-year career and was the father of 2 NFL quarterbacks. Matt, who made 3 Pro Bowls and started a Super Bowl for Seattle following the 2005 season, and Tim, who's now an analyst for ESPN and played mostly as a backup. The elder Hasselbeck was drafted in the 2nd round by New England in 1977. The San Jose Sharks conference for today, the club and captain Logan Couture will announce that the Veterans Center won't be able to continue his playing career because of an injury. An NHL source says that Couture officially won't retire, but instead will remain on long-term injured reserve, but his playing days are over. He helped lead the Sharks to the 2016 Stanley Cup Final where they lost to Pittsburgh. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Whether your Easter plans have you stepping out on Sunday or hosting a group at home, Macy's Easter sale has great deals on everything you'll need to celebrate, like 50% off dressy brunch looks to level up your whole family style, and 50 to 60% off hosting must-haves, like the classic Butterfly Meadow collection from Lenox. But don't miss out, because just like an Easter egg hunt, there's so much to discover, but you gotta move quick. At Macy's Easter sale today, savings off already reduced prices, exclusions apply.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to handle the busy holiday season, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app and get gaming strategies and information faster than you can say, "No, honey, I know how to gamble," when your wife asks for $10 to get a scratcher. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the 2 best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Yeah, it's your boy DRS solo mission today. Moneyline, the best every day, now officially underway, and it is a Major League Baseball day that we are going to have some fun with and cap every single game on the card today. So I got my pen and I got my paper right now, and I'm ready to get it kick-started. Now understand this. April is usually the toughest month of Major League Baseball to handicap. You can win money, you can lose money. You just try to stay ahead of the game by the end of April. Yesterday, I did take a couple bad beats, man. I'm telling you. I had a nice pick with the Philadelphia Phillies money line. I had a nice same-game parlay, which, again, these are all smaller options for the the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday with Paul Skeens on the mound. That one worked out well. But also, I'm being honest, I had another one of these shots that I had, I think about maybe a week and a half ago. And that was with the New York Yankees, where every single player in the lineup had a statistic but Jazz Chisholm. Now, Jazz Chisholm yesterday, the one thing that he does know how to do is hit home runs. Doesn't know how to do much else. Did that yesterday. But that's not where I'm going with this. I thought the Phillies would get beat yesterday by the San Francisco Giants, and they did. 10-4. This game, by the way, was 3-0 Philadelphia Phillies after the first inning. It looked like it was going to be a runaway rout. Well, then the Phillies do what they do, can't hit any bullpen, arms, score 1 run in the 5th inning, and nothing the rest of the inning, absolutely tattooed. But Lee, in the middle of that lineup, was the focal point for me yesterday. And he's been really good this season, Jung-Ho Lee. Player that came over from Japan. Let me just read you the statistics around Jung-Ho Lee yesterday. Mike Yastrzemski, 5 at-bats, 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 RBI, and a home run. Willie Adames, 5 at-bats, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 1 home run. Matt Chapman, 5 at-bats, no runs, but did get a hit and also an RBI yesterday. Heliot Ramos, 5 at-bats, 1 run, 2 hits. Lamonte Wade Jr., who's batting, by the way, 109, 2 at-bats, but did score a run and had 2 walks in that game. Wilmer Flores, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 RBI. Bailey, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 run. Fitzgerald, 4 at-bats, 3 runs, 3 hits, 3 RBI, and a home run. Jung-Ho Lee, 5 at-bats, No runs, no hits, no nothing in that game with 3 strikeouts. No statistics for him. So he left me out. And also in the 9th inning, you got the dream scenario. A leadoff double, a player that struck out in front of him, a pass ball was at the plate, a man on third, and a draw in an infield, which basically meant as long as you don't hit it directly at somebody or just hit a fly ball, I would have cashed multiple parlays on that play from Lee. Grounded out to the second baseman, who the runner on third was not running on contact, went back to first base. Tough scene there. It's the way it happens. But the reason I bring that up is you're going to get those bad beats at times, and it happens. You keep the units low a little bit earlier in the season, then you sort of march forward and find your footing as you go. Now, we have a really good Major League Baseball card today. And the one thing that does stick out to me the most is a lot of high xFIP number guys. I have 29 pitchers right now on the card that have at least 5 innings pitched in this Major League Baseball season, expected starting pitchers coming into today. If we're looking at those xFIP numbers where you want to start to fade or the fading process, anybody around that 4 range or higher. Well, it looks like today we have 16 total pitchers on this early season that have at least 5 innings pitched. And most of these guys, actually all of these guys, have at least 10 innings pitched at this point outside of Quinn Priester, which means we're getting a little bit better of a feel right now. There are some guys with the 6s and the high 5s and the mid 5s that we might want to take advantage of. So it's good to see today that we don't have any Major League Baseball this afternoon. So I'm looking at the card itself. First game is going to start at 6:40. So we have a way that we can get through this Major League Baseball card, a way that we can handicap this card and sort of get some of those ideas out here. My guy, X-Man's out here, and it is Jackie Robinson Day, which means payday, and he's correct. 42s all over the place today in Major League Baseball, and that's the way it should be. One of the greatest players in Major League Baseball history, our good friend Jackie Robinson. So in honor of Jackie Robinson, why don't we go out and really honor him by winning some money in Major League Baseball? His family would appreciate that, right? Number 42s all the way around. Better understand like who's at the plate and who's in the field because everybody has the same number. Throws you off sometimes just a little bit where you get the back of the jersey. Like, I think that's Juan Soto out there, right? All right, let's get started. Let's have some fun today. Now, what we want to do is let's take an approach here where I'm going to see, and let me just bring up the weather conditions for each situation that we're going to start today with here. So let me just bring up a statistical site here. We will go down to Major League Baseball weather and get it started right away. Okay. 6:40 p.m. first start down in Miami. Obviously, we don't care about weather conditions there. It's in a dome. If it's nice, they'll open it up. If not, is there a chance for weather conditions actually there? It's 80 degrees with no precipitation. That could be really nice if that ballpark is open. Today, the Pittsburgh Pirates, 45-degree temperature, something you don't like to see, but a 16-mile-an-hour wind that's blowing out to left field. Keep in mind, precipitation is in the forecast in Pittsburgh. Cincinnati weather today, 51 degrees with a double-digit wind blowing out to left field. We like to see that. The Giants and the Phillies, a crosswind of about 20 miles per hour, but 60-degree temperatures. The Baltimore Orioles, 60-degree temperatures with a heavy wind blowing out to right field at close to 17 miles per hour. Tampa Bay, 77-degree temperatures here. Wind blowing out to right field, that short porch at George Steinbrenner Field. Yankees and the Royals playing obviously in the Bronx. 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to dead center field tonight and about 58, 59 degrees. There is some rain in the forecast, but see where we're going with this? Getting those good vibes. Toronto Blue Jays and the Atlanta Braves, I think it's really cold up there in Toronto. That Rogers Center roof is probably going to be closed. The Chicago White Sox at home today. 50-degree temperatures. A wind blowing out to dead center field at 17 miles per hour. See where we're going with this? Wind actually helping at the backs today. We love to see that. The New York Metropolitans taking on the Minnesota Twins. 52-degree temperatures, double-digit wind also blowing out to right field. Detroit and Milwaukee, the Dome Stadium. What's the temperature up there, though? Let's see if that dome's going to be open. 47, 48 degrees with a wind blowing out to 15 miles per hour to center field. Depends if they open the windows and the impact there, but probably minimal at best. You take a look at the the St. Louis Cardinals at home against the Houston Astros. 60-degree temperatures, a double-digit wind blowing out to right field. Chicago Cubs late at night versus the Padres, 58 degrees, a crosswind of around 5 miles per hour. Then the Texas Rangers at home in the Dome against the Angels. So good weather conditions, guys, across Major League Baseball to try to make it happen. Now, I already have 2 plays that I put out earlier this morning before I even went on the early line with myself and Ben Stevens. And those, which we'll get into them as the show goes, Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres, I got 7.5. Thought it was a great number this morning. That's now up to 8. So, I mean, yes, if you like 7.5, you probably like it over 8, but you know the big deal there. 5-3 game ends. You got to push. 7.5 got the win. We understand how that goes. But I think that play makes certainly a lot of sense as well. Taking a look at a side today. Let me just pull up my card here to see. Oh, there it was. Houston Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Minus 125 price as a favorite here towards the Houston Astros. I think that's a worthwhile play also. But we want to get into some of the hitter statistics today. Because as I tweeted out earlier at Right Side VP, I'm pretty excited about what we're looking at today and some of the action. We're not going to change our levels because it's still in April. You're still betting low limits here, trying to factor in and have some fun. But I'm telling you right now, I am invested in baseball. It's been so much fun to handicap. Just watching the day-to-day numbers absolutely stack up where we might be able to get some of these things to really flip on our side. We were one base knock away, one pop fly ball away from a player in Lee for the Giants with cashing in just about everything we touched. It didn't happen. That's okay. Today's a new day. Let's get it started because the first game up starts at 6:40 p.m. And by the way, 4 games starting at 6:45 or earlier today. We'll hit all of those in the next segment right here on Moneyline. Let's have some fun, baby. Let's win some money and handicap. It's your boy DRS. Be right back.
Download the SportsGrid mobile app.
Just do it. You might as well get it.
We're not going to shut up about it until you do.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With the SportsGrid News Flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. The operator of the Keystone Oil Pipeline restarted the system Monday after a spill onto farmland in North Dakota last week shut down the line. South Bow said it was watching inclement weather conditions before beginning a carefully controlled restart. After just a few short months of La Nina conditions, forecasters said this past winter's weather phenomenon is over. According to the Climate Prediction Center at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the combination of below-average temperatures, weakening in the central Pacific Ocean, and the westward expansion of very warm weather in the far eastern Pacific helped dissipate the cooler surface of La Nina. A former Colorado sheriff's deputy convicted of killing a 22-year-old man in distress who called 911 for help was sentenced Monday to 3 years in prison, the maximum sentence. Andrew Buen was convicted in February of criminally negligent homicide in the 2022 death of Christian Glass. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how far.
Let's make something crystal clear. The winning edge has nothing to do with increasing good luck. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's sports gaming strategies and information. You want luck? Flip a coin. You want to win?
Flip it here.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Make some money today, people. Tuesday, midweek. No better way to spend it than right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's your boy down the right side on a solo mission. Kevin will be back next week, so I got you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All baseball, all day long. Handicapping Central. This is the place that you want to be. And also, if you're out here with us live on Restream, watching through Twitter, fantastic stuff. If you're out here, SportsGrid On Demand, X-Man out here chiming in as well. Fantastic stuff. If you're listening through Sirius XM channel 159, love you. SportsGridRadio.com as well as the SportsGrid app, the best in the business. Absolutely fantastic. I always have one of these boxes open. If you have a comment out there, certainly be able to give you a shout out. And also, if you have any plays that you like tonight, or if you want to follow me on at RightSideVP and send me a play that you have tonight, Always love cheering it on. It's what we do. It's the community that we're building here. Let's get into the handicapping. Game number 1, 6:40 p.m. Let me just make sure I have everything in chronological order, and I do. 9:51, 9:52 rotation. It's Arizona. It's Miami. It's Kelly versus Gillespie on the mound tonight. A total of 8.5. Opened at 8.5. FanDuel's at 8.5, but 9's across the board now. So it looks like that line is on the move going higher. You take a look at the minus 174 price at the opening number. That's dropped at most outlets to as low as a minus 160 price. So the fade might be on here for Arizona. If we take a look at some of the statistics in this game, and let me just pull that one up first. Merrill Kelly on the mound last year, a very average season. This year, getting blown up a little bit. 70 batters that he's faced, a 250 ISO against, and a weighted on base percentage of 374. Right-handed batters having some success too. Let's see what we got just to make it 182 and a 326 ISO and weighted on base percentage, respectively. The lefties, though, extremely elevated. A 289 weighted on base percentage, 289 ISO, which is incredibly high, and a 401 weighted on base percentage. You take a look at the lineup, and maybe you're not in love with the Marlins today, but there are some options that we're going to pick on here in just a few moments. If we are looking at Merrill Kelly to get some of the analytical statistics, understand this. You know the way I go about my business here. You have to take the approach of what has actually happened to the pitcher at the plate and what are we expecting the pitcher to happen in the future. If there's 29 pitchers on the card today, which there are, minimum of at least 5 innings pitched, Merrill Kelly has 15 innings pitched through 3 starts. He has an ERA of 7.20 and an xFIP of 6.51. He's the worst pitcher on the card today. So you want to factor on some things, what you can do with the Marlins. Most people don't look towards the Marlins as a possible team total. There's a chance for that today. So I'm going to write right now, Marlins team total, and we'll put that down first, and we'll take a look at the players in just a moment. And by the way, I told you guys I've been tracking some, analysis isn't the right word. But yesterday, did you know every single game that played yesterday had at least 2 runs or more in the first 5 innings? That parlay would have been a really nice one, which I didn't bet all the way through, but just keeping an eye on those statistics was positive last week. Haven't done it yet this week, which I should have been going back to it. But every game last night had at least 2 runs in the first 5 innings. That's something I've been eyeing up just on handicaps like in this Marlins-Arizona game, which we might do tonight. Just some food for thought, wanted to keep the people updated on that. All right, let's take a look at the Marlins. Current season against right-handed pitching. Xavier Edwards has a 424 weighted on base percentage, but a low ISO power number. It doesn't matter. That weighted on base percentage for the leadoff guy in the 1+1+1 market, that does make a difference. Lower K rate and a high walk rate there. So I'm going to write down just the Marlins. We're going to start with them. And I'm going to go Edwards in that lineup, which might make some sense. Stowers, number 2 in the lineup, anticipated tonight. Not really good numbers. We'll pass by. Otto Lopez and Matt Mervis make some sense as well. So with Edwards, we will go Lopez, and we will go with Mervis. All decent statistics this season for the Marlins going up against right-handed pitching. Let's flip it over to the other side and take a look at what we have with Connor Gillespie on the mound. Last year, only 32 batters faced at the Major League Baseball level. We'll take that out of the equation. He's faced 60 batters this year, which is already double what he did last year. ISO power number is a little bit high at 204. Lefties at a 222, righties at a 185. Weighted on base percentage is lower, 230 to lefties, a 351 to righties. Let's take a look at the analytical side here so far early this season with Connor Gillespie. I have him 19th out of 29 pitchers today. 14 innings pitched, a 3.86 ERA, which isn't bad, but an elevated xFIP number of 4.46, so certainly hittable. If we're looking at players that you want to take advantage of today, I think you can go lefty and righty, which means the stack would be in the first 4 batters there for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So if we write Arizona with a team total, also possibility. So we'll go that as well and write that down. And then if we take a look at the batters there, it would be CC, which is Corbin Carroll. Number 2 in the lineup would be Perdomo. Number 3 in that lineup would be Pavin Smith. And then number 4 in that lineup would be Josh Naylor. So I think we have an opportunity for runs in this game. And also, Eugenio Suarez, still putting up decent numbers a little bit farther down, but he does strike out a lot. So I'll go 5 Suarez. There's a lot to like in this Marlins-Arizona game, which, again, is really a feeder of this card today, which I think we do have some really good spots. So just getting those names down of what makes sense in 2 pitchers that are hittable. And keep in mind, again, Merrill Kelly just might be the worst pitcher on this card today. All right, let's keep it going with the rotational numbers. Washington and Pittsburgh had a pretty good night. And by the way, O'Neal Cruz, I needed him to get an RBI yesterday. He had one of those interesting plays where he hit a pop fly where the second baseman didn't read it. The right fielder came in and slid down, but the third guy on third base didn't move too far enough off the bag. So you had one of those where he needed an RBI, but actually got a player on third base and a base hit and a run didn't score. That hurts. But again, some of the bad beats that you take in the month of April. Washington, Pittsburgh, Irving on the mound versus Keller. This line is a minus 134 to minus 145 price, depending on where you're shopping at, as a favorite towards Pittsburgh. Washington has the dog in this game at 8.5 across the board. So if we take a look at some non-analytical stats per se from this game today, 44-degree temperatures, it's really cold in Pittsburgh, but a 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to center field. You look at Jake Irving on the season. Last year, actually had a decent season. As a right-handed pitcher, struggled a little bit with lefties. That's certainly happening again this season. 69 batters total faced this year, 38 from the left-hand side. If we just focus on lefties, a 389 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 509. So you're immediately going to go to the card today and try to find some lefties. All lefties aren't built the same, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I look at the Pirates today, and I'm just writing down a name, that's going to be O'Neal Cruz. So Cruz, again, is going to get a good look. 38 at-bats against right-handed pitching on the season, a couple knocks yesterday, a couple base hits, I should say, 233 ISO, and a weighted on-base percentage of 370. We're not through this game. We're going to take an analytical look at both of these pitchers, but O'Neal Cruz is going down in the memory bank already. Handicapping on a Tuesday, right here on the grid. I'm Donnie Rightside, and this is Moneyline.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app. It's much easier to carry than your lucky horseshoe.
And you won't get stopped at the airport.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1947, Jackie Robinson becomes the first African American to play in Major League Baseball. Robinson went on to a Hall of Fame career with the Dodgers and broke the color barrier for Negro League players in baseball. Hall of Fame manager Joe Torre.
Realizing how the game changed when Jackie Robinson came on the scene. He and Babe Ruth impacted the game like nobody else has.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
New University of Ottawa research says if you're a member of the Polar Bear Club and like to take a dip in the ocean during sub-zero weather, you might actually be extending your life. This study finds acclimating your body to repeated exposure to immersion in cold water for an hour over 7 days supercharges cellular resistance, the body's natural mechanisms cleaning out damaged tissue. If you want to try this for yourself and you're not quite ready to jump into the Arctic Ocean, maybe just try a cold shower. Follow me at Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Sports Rage tonight.
Cam, how many picks are you up to right now for the Masters? Yesterday you said you were at 87 current bets. What do you have right now?
I'm thinking 70 to 80 bets currently in my account.
Babano, it's like a common night for our boy Babano.
Yeah. Oh, Babano's email. Yeah, no, this guy's got 40 goal props, like let alone games, Gabe. Like, yeah, Babano hits it hard.
It's Sports Rage tonight with Gabe Morency. Weekdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. There are too many people addicted to their phones these days, unless it's to look or listen to the SportsGrid mobile app.
In fact,
you should delete all your apps but ours.
Your wife texts you too much anyway.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Just we're looking at the Pittsburgh side today against Washington as we're handicapping all throughout the afternoon, picking out some Major League Baseball action spots. O'Neal Cruz certainly going to get a write down. But from a left-handed batter perspective, sometimes you just go with Brian Reynolds. Last night did have a knock as well, an RBI. Look at Emmanuel Valdez. I don't know if I want to go that route, but we are going to take a look at analytically right now at Jake Irving and what he sets up on the season. 16 innings pitched so far, a 5.63 ERA, which obviously is not good. We don't really pay that much attention to it, but an elevated 4.65 xFIP number. I love that team total yesterday for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It is hard to go back sometimes to it. Again, cold temperature I'm not going to necessarily write down that I love the team total for Pittsburgh in that cold weather, but I think O'Neal Cruz does make sense once again out of that leadoff spot. Let's go over to the other side. Mitch Keller last year really struggled with left-handed batters. This season, the power numbers are down for him. He's got an 0.45 ERA through 75 batters, but the left-handed weighted on-base percentage is still quite high and not a lot of strikeouts from Mitch Keller's side. If I look at Mitch Keller, he is 11th on the pitching card today, to 4.24 ERA and a 390 xFIP number. There are some spots I like in that lineup tonight, like Nathaniel Lowe. Probably going to stay away from that side. But one guy that I do think makes some sense, though, is for Pittsburgh, and maybe a sneaky team total for Pittsburgh again, but those temperatures are always scary at this point. But certainly a fadeable guy nonetheless in Jake Irvin. And maybe if you're just looking for stacks there, just left-handed bats in that lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates today. All right, keep it moving down the list as we go. Castillo versus Lodolo. That's Seattle versus Cincinnati. A 6:40 start time tonight. 8.5 is the total in this game, and basically pick them on both sides at a minus 110 price. If we bring this game up, we do have 51-degree temperatures, which is warmer a little bit, hopefully, than Pittsburgh, sitting there in the mid-40s, and a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to dead center field. You take a look at Castillo on the mound as the matchup versus Lodolo, as we pointed out. Lodolo was great last year. Lodolo this year, here's what's interesting. We're going to go over this now. Lodolo, let's see, where is he lining up today out of those 29 pitchers? He's 17th. Much like Taijuan Walker yesterday had a 0 ERA, but a xFIP number in the 4s. Sooner or later, it's going to get lit. Last night was one of those nights. Lodolo, through 18 2/3 innings pitched, has an 0.96 ERA, but an xFIP number of 4.28. So is that a cause for, hey, maybe he blows up tonight? Maybe so. But that is a big discrepancy between ERA and xFIP numbers. Case in point, not striking out enough batters, which means the ball does get put in play. Flip it over to the other side here. Let's go Cincinnati's lineup. Luis Castillo is going to be on the line tonight or the bump, I should say, for Seattle. He's at a 2.12 ERA and an xFIP of 3.95. So the better pitcher on the mound tonight, for me, forget about the ERA, is Luis Castillo. Going up against a lineup that doesn't have done all that well against right-handed bats. Elly De La Cruz has a very good season, 40 at-bats against right-handed pitching, and has done some damage. And Elly will bat from the left-hand side. So if there's an added advantage, that's probably a guy you want to look towards. But if I was just taking a side, to be honest, in a pick'em game, I'm probably going Seattle today. Even though I don't like Seattle's lineup one bit here, I think I have the better pitcher on the mound going up against Lodolo, who, again, is under 1 ERA. You might think it doesn't make some sense, but trust me, it does. I'm going to lay off this game for now, though. But we might be able to get back to that and see if there are advantages. Philadelphia Phillies, who lost last night again to the San Francisco Giants. Verlander on the mound versus Jesus Luzardo. 162 to 166 prices here total at 8 across as we look. Now, if we focus on those Giants bats, which have been extremely hot so far in this young season, just didn't help you out last night. I mean, come on. Looking at you, Jung-Ho Lee. Maybe he bounces back tonight. He's been very good as a lefty against left-handed pitching so far before last night. You take a look at the lineup today. It's not all that inviting for San Francisco. Luzardo, who last year struggled, 274 batters he faced, some injuries. He's been really good this year. And so good on this card that he's number 1 on the pitching card out of 29 pitchers today. 18 innings he's done so far, a 150 ERA, and a 2.46 xFIP number, which is microscopic. So the San Francisco Giants, to me, are out tonight. The question is going to be, what do you get out of the Philadelphia Phillies? Justin Verlander is on the mound, 13 innings pitched, a 6.92 ERA, but a 3.74 xFIP number. 57, 58 degrees in Philadelphia, a wind blowing out to right field. I don't know if I love this game because Luzardo has sensational statistics. Verlander's got the high ERA, but a not-so-high xFIP against a team that's scuffling at the plate. Now, if you look at Stott, Turner, Harper, Schwarber, and Realmuto, you might be able to find something there. But this is a game I'm probably going to be passing on because, again, as I stated, really good pitcher on one side, a lineup that should hit on the other, but I don't want to fall into that with the Philadelphia Phillies right now. More games on the way. Let's do it. It's Moneyline.
This is the place.
This is where you'll get expert perspectives and sports gaming strategies 24/7.
And it's free.
Beat that, you cheap. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. NHL on Monday in the shootout, the Blackhawks beat the Canadiens 4-3. Chicago spoiled Montreal's bid to clinch a playoff spot for the third consecutive game. Montreal has 89 points, 4 more than Columbus, with 1 game left on Wednesday at home against the Hurricanes, while the Blue Jackets have 2 games remaining. The Kings shut out the Oilers 5-0. Adrian Kempe had a goal and 2 assists, helping the Kings officially clinch home ice against the Oilers in the first round of the playoffs. LA has victories in 7 of their last 8. The Calgary Flames are still chasing a playoff spot with 92 points. They're 2 behind St. Louis. The Blues hold the last wild card in the West, but have lost 3 in a row. The Flames have won 2 straight. St. Louis is home tonight against Utah, while the Flames play host to the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas can clinch the Pacific Division by earning at least a point tonight. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice, making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If sports talk stations were buffets, we'd be the one with the line out the door where every night is rib night and you came alone because the crowd gives you a measure of cover so you won't get any grief for going back 9 times. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right back at it here. Let's keep it moving. Not going to do too much there with San Francisco and Philadelphia as we stated before the break, but let's continue down our march to every single game today. And one of those marches includes the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Baltimore Orioles. That's going to be Logan Allen on the mound, and he is taking on Charlie Morton, the veteran. Line opened up around 140 or so. Sits as high as 155 as a favorite towards Baltimore. In the total, that opened up at 8.5 now, seeing 8.5s across the board with some 9s starting, to poke through. If we look at this game today, 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field off of the warehouse down there at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Here's the issue, just looking at the stats alone. We'll get to the pitchers in a second. Logan Allen, the left-handed pitcher, actually done very well this year against right-handed bats through 37 of them. Low ISO power number, weighted on base percentage average. Last year, he got tattooed against righties. That's going to be key here. Left-handed batters struggled with last year, struggled with this year. But again, with a left-handed pitcher, you're not going to get many lefties in the lineup. Gunnar Henderson starting to come to life here off the disabled list. He's a lefty. But in that lineup, he'll be the only lefty, everybody else from the right-hand side. Here's the issue. You look at the Orioles lineup, limited at-bats. The most at-bats somebody has is 13 against left-handed pitching. Henderson underwhelming, Rutschman, Westberg, and O'Neill. Mountcastle with good statistics, Laureano, Sanchez, Urias has a 546 weighted on base percentage, which is really good with low power numbers, and Mateo. One guy in that lineup with a plus ISO power number, everybody else below. Only 2 guys in that lineup with really good weighted on base percentages, everybody below. Makes it kind of tough. If we look at Logan Allen, though, on the card today, guys, pitching card, 1 through 29, he's ranked 26th. 10 innings pitched, which again is a limited sample size. A 3.60 ERA, which is decent, but an xFIP of 5.58, which means he's not striking out a lot of batters and he's walking too many, which will cause traffic on the base paths. So a sneaky team total that you could say is under the radar because the team has good batters but hasn't performed against lefties. I'm going to write down the Orioles in this spot. And if you're looking for players in that lineup that could possibly do damage, you would go Mountcastle per se. But again, right-handed batters hasn't been the issue this year for Allen. Last year it was. Does that focus come back in at this point? You sort of lay it out. These are the tough decisions they have to make in the month of April. Are you looking more last year's statistics, this year's statistics? Eventually they'll come around. Cold temperatures, wind blowing out. Lefty should hit the lefty. Righty should hit the right. You see what I mean? It's kind of tough. So I just wrote down the Orioles as a chance opportunity. Cleveland side, going to go up against Charlie Morton. And Charlie Morton on the card today, out of 29 pitchers, he's listed 13th in xFIP, an 8.78 ERA, which is disastrous, but a 4.03 xFIP. So he's pitching much better than what an ERA is. But having said that, it's still Charlie Morton. Those 66 batters that he's facing, ISO against, 236, a weighted on base percentage of 402, lit up by both lefties and righties. So I look at the top of that lineup today, and I say there's a good chance that I like this stack because Kwan can hit anybody, lefty or righty. But the fact that you love right behind him is Jose Ramirez, switch hitter. Carlos Santana, switch hitter. So we're going to go Orioles just as a team here. We'll make a decision if we want like a sneaky team total, which I don't know if we'll get to, but we'll go with the Guardians right next to him as a chance with the team total. But also, more importantly, the stack here would be Kwan. So I'm going to list him to 1. Number 2, it's going to be J-Ram. And number 3, that would be Carlos Santana. So it looks like we have some opportunities there. We'll split those up, but I'm feeling confident about that. I think it's a pretty decent game between the two. Temperatures aren't ice cold there in Baltimore. Wind blowing out to right field. So those are the guys that I technically would settle into. Let's keep moving. Let's see how many games we can get through today. Boston and Tampa Bay. Buehler versus Pepio on the mound. And this line opened up around that 125 price. It's as high as 135 across the board and a 9 total. Now, granted, as we're going to handicap this game, we are always looking and being interested in the weather condition. 74 degrees in Tampa, George Steinbrenner Field, carbon copy of Yankee Stadium, which is fantastic, and an 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right field. Understand this. Walker Buehler on the mound. Let's take a look at his pitching numbers here based on where he ranks. Let's see, where are you at, Walker? Walker Buehler, 7th on the card. High ERA, lower xFIP number of 340. Only 15.2 innings pitched. Now, Walker Buehler struggled last year through 407 batters, lefties and righties, beating him up just a bit. He's got an interesting split this year. K-rate, high to lefties, low to righties. Low walk percentage across the board, which means not giving free trips out there. ISO power number 177, weighted on base percentage of 352. Both elevated, but it's interesting. To lefties, he has a low ISO and a high weighted on base percentage. But to righties, he's got a 250 ISO, which is elevated, and an average weighted on base percentage of 334. You look at the middle of that lineup. Brandon Lau, Junior Caminero, Jonathan Aranda, Christopher Morel, and Cameron Meisner, all high numbers here with low K props here. But the 340 xFIP worries me a little bit. However, I am going to write down Tampa Bay because that lineup mid-stack does look decent. Lower xFIP, higher ERA. How do we play that one out? And now, absolutely hot batters at the plate, and you saw yesterday, absolutely tattooed the Boston Red Sox. Pepio will be on the mound, who this year through 44 batters has struggled with righties. Last year, he didn't do that. On the card, Pepio checks in. Let's see if we can find him quickly. Sometimes it's hard to spot. 16th on the card, a 3.38 ERA, but a 4.16 xFIP number. This, you don't want to outsmart yourself because you look at the lineup: Devers, Bregman, Wilyer Abreu, Trevor Story, Christian Campbell, all high ISO power numbers and weighted on base percentages here. Pepio hasn't been bad this year, pitching at home. I'm still going to write because I want to take a deeper dive into this game later on. So I did write Tampa Bay and Boston down. I think it makes a little bit of sense here. Nothing yet but green lights in that lineup per se. No doubt about it. All right. Skip that one. Kansas City and New York. Yesterday, a lower scoring game. Waka versus Fried on the mound today. A line that opened up at a minus 200 price is higher now. As high as 218 across the board in a total. That's listed at 8.5. So if you look at the Yankees at Yankee Stadium today, you like what you see, though. 55 degrees. Not the warmest temperatures, but a wind blowing out to right field at 14 miles per hour. That always helps. Michael Wacha is going to be on the mound today, and he's 24th out of 29 pitchers, guys, through 15 innings on this season. A 4.20 ERA and a 5.19 xFIP number. So our eyes automatically start to look for the Yankees. So, yes, we're going to write down the New York Yankees in this game. And the matchups that we like, obviously, Rice to start that lineup. One of my favorite batters on that team. Aaron Judge right behind him. Bellinger and Goldschmidt struggling against right-handed pitching, which is interesting. Sometimes you just would want to go Goldschmidt in the middle of that lineup automatically. Jazz Chisholm with good numbers. I just, again, a guy that has hit a lot of home runs. I just don't get quality at bats. Strikes out a lot. You get the picture here. Volpe might have a chance here, so we'll write him down. Austin Wells has a chance here. He'll go down on the card. And also Jason Dominguez. So right, Dominguez. So there's a lot of batters on that New York Yankees team that we could like. So we'll write down team total and the Yanks, along with those 5 batters in the lineup. Based on stats, you should be taking Jazz Chisholm today. Just having a hard time from what I see. Seems like that 1-for-5 guy every night would say, hey, Don, he's getting one base hit. But the easy opportunities that you want to cash in, runners on second, third, 1 out, just put the ball in play, cash in an RBI prop. It's tough to take with him. Now, flip side, Max Fried on the mound, number 4 overall on the card today. 17 innings pitched, a low ERA, and a really low xFIP number. He's done very well against right-handed batters this year through 54. He struggled a little bit with a weighted on-base percentage against left-handed batters, which means a little bit too high of a walk rate, a little bit too low of a K rate. But that lineup for the Royals absolutely cannot hit left-handed pitching. So as I look at that team, like maybe it's a Moneyline Yankees that you would throw into the parlay because they're not going to pay a 210, 215, 220 price at this point. So we'll leave that the same. But the Yankees make some sense, and even for a Moneyline opportunity, I think could do some damage at this point. Other side, Royals, absolutely nothing. So we'll move on. Yanks probably going to be a big piece of the puzzle tonight. Atlanta and Toronto, Schwellenbach versus Gausman. Total in this game listed at 7.5 across the board. A favorite, which opened up for Atlanta at -132, that is dropped to basically a pick'em. We're going to get involved and take a look at this game coming up next. To Schwellenbach, number 2 on the pitching card. Kevin Gausman, number 15 on the pitching card. But do we have enough offense from the Atlanta Braves? That and more coming up right next year on Moneyline.
Winning is not just beating the odds. It's the thing that keeps the wife smiling and your kids in respectful awe.
Oh, Father. Now cut that out.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. The NBA play-in round starts tonight. 2 games are on the schedule. In the East, the Hawks take on the Magic. The winning team clinches the 7th seed. The losing team advances to take on the winner of tomorrow night's Heat-Bulls matchup. Western Conference tonight, the Grizzlies visit the Warriors. The winner gets the 7th seed in the West. The losing team plays the winner of tomorrow night's Mavericks-Kings matchup for the 8th seed in the West. Former NFL tight end Don Hasselbeck has passed away at the age of 70. He reportedly died after going into cardiac arrest at his home. He won a Super Bowl in his 9-year career and was the father of 2 NFL quarterbacks. Matt, who made 3 Pro Bowls and started a Super Bowl for Seattle following the 2005 season, and Tim, who's now an analyst for ESPN and played mostly as a backup. The elder Hasselbeck was drafted in the 2nd round by New England in 1977. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You've heard of smart bombs, smartphones, smart cars, smart watches, and smart glasses. Now you can add smart player, giving you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Schwellenbach, people. Schwellenbach on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. They try to get back in the NL East race here. Let's take a look at that game. Because they are going to be north of the border, 38-degree temperatures. That dome is going to be closed. So we're not worried about any weather creeping in, hot, cold, wind blowing, or rainy circumstances here. Schwellenbach's been phenomenal on the season. Number 2 pitcher on the card today, going up against a lineup that doesn't do any damage whatsoever against right-handed pitching, which is good. So Schwellenbach, the right-handed pitcher, that's an advantage. But Atlanta's lineup tonight, and I thought Marcell Ozuna, did he play last night? Let's go down here. Let's go to the scores from yesterday if we can find those. So I seem to think that he had like a hip injury and wasn't able to go. They put up 8 runs yesterday, an 8-4 victory on the road. Ozuna wasn't in the lineup. I don't think he's going to be in the lineup again today. It's in the projected lineup. I think he's worried about that hip injury at this point. So that could be one of those guys who has some really good numbers that would be down. But then you have to slide some other guys up the list. But Kevin Gausman last year was good through 756 batters he faced. This year, 68 batters. Been decent. I'm laying off this game. I do think Schwellenbach and the Atlanta Braves can win this one. I think they're the better pitcher on the mound. I'm just not happy with what I'm getting if Marcell Ozuna is not in that lineup once again. But he scored 8 runs last night. I get it. Veteran pitcher on the opposite side is probably going to make some adjustments tonight on what they saw last night and be done with it. The Athletics. Always weird to see the ATH next to the Sacramento Athletics name. Too hard to say. Going up against Chicago White Sox with Burke on the mound. So Springs versus Burke, a 162 favorite on the road for the Athletics. So let me just take a look at how these two pitchers are matched up this year. First, we'll take a look at Springs, the left-handed pitcher. He's 14th on the card today, 4.20 ERA, 4.04 xFIP number. Usually a bad lineup he's going up against. Burke, on the other hand, where is my guy Burke at? Sean Burke's 25th out of 29 pitchers today. A 6 ERA and a 5.46 xFIP number. Okay, maybe we have a lead-in to take a look at this one. So let's start to focus on the Athletics and the White Sox. 50-degree temperatures, 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to dead center field, again, in the windy city of Chicago. The White Sox lineup is an absolute mess. I'm not going anywhere near that today. You take a look at that, the Athletics lineup. It's hard to say not Oakland. It's so much easier. Like Athletics is a tough one. Did you repeat it? Just say the A's, but just the fact that it's ATH, it's even hard to say like A's at that point when you see it. Now, last year, Burke had decent statistics through 76 batters. This year through 59. He's really struggled against righties. Having said that, this lineup entirety all the way through, not having a lot of success with righties. Tyler Soderstrom, who I love, is a lefty, and that's where Sean Burke does his damage against. So it's a shame. Not going to be able to take anything in this game, and that's okay. Making the right decisions, not forcing plays here. The New York Mets and the Minnesota Twins are next up here. That's going to be McGill, and that's going to be Ober. Ober on the mound, obviously, for the Twins. Roughly a pick 'em, depending on where you're shopping at. In a total, that's listed at 8. If we're looking on the card today, Bailey Ober is 22 out of 29 in xFIP numbers, a 7.11 ERA, which is extremely high. The man's always open, people, and a 4.73 xFIP number. So that's a guy that you might want to target. If we take a look at Tyler McGill, he's 9th on the card today, 0.63 ERA, but a 3.54 xFIP. So let's take a look at some of the numbers from the batters in this game here. See if we can make heads or tails. 50 degrees, wind blowing out around 10 miles an hour to right field. That helps, but still cooler temperatures. McGill on the mound this year has been really good through 62 batters with ISO and weighted on base percentages. That certainly will help. There's a high walk rate, particularly the lefties, but this lineup stinks for the Minnesota Twins. Take a look at the Mets here. Ober's bad all across the board through 60 at-bats. We just told you he's 22 out of 29 pitchers, high ERA, 4.73 xFIP, which is a danger zone. He struggled, talking about Ober, against lefty and righty batters this year. You know where we love to go in that. Low K rates, by the way, through the first 4 batters. And it's great to see Pete Alonso with a low K rate. That's amazing. A 364 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 443 and a K percentage of only 15%. Now, Lindor and Soto, who are both back from the left-hand side, not a lot of great statistics this year so far. But that sets up where Pete Alonso probably should be on your card and or Brandon Nimmo. So if I'm looking at this game, the New York Mets, not in love with the overall team here, but Ober can be hit. The first 4 guys in that lineup, probably in that 1+1+1 market, do make some sense. Now, Lindor, not great numbers. Neither does Juan Soto. But you're just looking for them to get on the base because then comes up Alonso and then comes up Nimmo at that point. I'm going to write those names down and revisit it. But I do think there might be something at the top of the lineup here for the New York Mets. Nothing for the Minnesota Twins. As we keep moving down the list again, it gets to Detroit, and it gets to Milwaukee. Priester's only got 5 innings pitched on the season. 180 ERA, 350 xFIP. Take what you want of that. We'll look at some last year's statistics to try to get a good feel. Flaherty will be on the mound here, 6th pitcher on the card. So maybe we're automatically on an out in this game the way it just sets up. So let's see what we got here. Flaherty, good numbers, weighted on base ISO power numbers and weighted on base percentages. You do have a decent looking lineup in Milwaukee, but we're going to stay away from that. Quinn Priest, who last year struggled with lefties, this year is struggling with righties. Go figure. You know me, I have a penchant for taking Detroit Tigers players, but I got to lay off tonight. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But I'm going to be upset when Riley Green gets back in that lineup and starts cranking again tonight. It is what it is. Houston and St. Louis. As I started off the show today, I really like the side in this game for the Houston squad. It's up to now to minus 130 across the board. I got it at 125, and I would take it at still 130 to 135 in that price range. It's going to be Brown versus Fedde. Take a look at Fedde on the season. 15 innings pitched, guys, a 4.20 ERA, which isn't terrible, but a 5.99 xFIP number. If we lay it into the actual numbers themselves in this game and say, you know what, Donnie, Houston doesn't have a great lineup, and they don't. This is a play strictly against the pitcher that has a high xFIP, and you should be able to hit. 58 degrees, a wind blowing out to right field. Altuve, Isaac Paredes should be there. It's one that I'm probably more likely, which, as I said already, I took the money line. So do I really need to get involved in that game much more than that? See where I'm going with this? Like, take Altuve, take Paredes. You think they're going to win the game? They got to score runs. I get it, but I'm already invested there. Hunter Brown has been sensational on the other side. A 2 ERA through 18 innings and a 2.58 xFIP number. Now, St. Louis does have pretty good statistics against right-handed pitching, but I'm going to go against that. Give me the better pitcher. Give me a team that should be able to hit tonight. We'll just stick with the money line here on the road with the Astros. All right, one segment to go. 3 games left. Angels, Rangers, Cubs, Padres, Rockies, Dodgers. Coming up next as we complete the card on Moneyline. We'll be right back.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app and you'll never be alone. Take the latest episodes of your favorite shows with you anywhere. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
For anyone who's worried about back taxes, has not filed tax returns, and doesn't know what to do next, stop and listen. Not filing your taxes can have severe consequences, especially in this political climate. Now that COVID is over, the IRS is getting aggressive, massively increasing enforcement and collection efforts. With politicians making all sorts of promises, especially when it comes to taxes, hiding and not dealing with your taxes will cause you harsh legal and financial ramifications. But right now, the IRS offers forgiveness and writes off a massive amount of tax debt. The Tax Doctor offers a free service that helps people get out of IRS collections and back in good standing with the government. Don't hide or bury your head in the sand. Take advantage of our free service. Call now to learn more. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. That's 800-816-4492.
The early line.
You know, Coach, I need to know about the Houston Rockets here. I don't think I've ever seen a more disrespected number 2 overall seed in a really good conference in my entire lifetime. 52-28, deserving of the number 2 seed. Doesn't matter who they play in round number 1, Coach. They are getting sent home and sent home quickly. The disrespect, Udoka is the head coach. Is it real or is it fool's gold for them?
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
You've searched, and now you found it.
A mostly peaceful oasis in the sports talk desert, where one multi-platform giant shines like a lighthouse on the calm ocean.
Nice metaphor.
That network
is SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
3 games left, people, as we said. Game number 1, 8:05 p.m., 969, 970 on the rotation. Angels, Texas, Kikuchi, and Molly. And if we look there, Tyler, where's my guy Tyler at? Where are you at, Tyler? 20th on the card today, 132 xFIP, but a 132 ERA with a 4.51 xFIP number. That's interesting. That's interesting here. You take a look at Kikuchi on the opposite side. He is listed, where are you at, you say? 18th on the card, 5 ERA and a 4.44. Let's get to some of those statistics here. So LA, which always looks good right now in the lineup, man, because that team is blistering the baseball. Some things to like in that lineup is 1 through 8. Ward, Rengifo, Trout, Soler, Ohapi, Shanuel, Paris, and Adele. I still don't have that, guys. Shanuel, it looks like. Yeah, tough one. Change that name, kid. Make it a little bit easier. Tyler Mahle actually has some pretty good statistics with ISO and weighted on base percentage, but the reason why that xFIP number is high, too many walks, not enough strikeouts. You get that, right? Flip it over to Texas. Kikuchi's on the mound, struggling with right-handed batters. You're going to get a lot of them. This is an interesting one. This is interesting. So if we take a look at Kikuchi, 18 innings pitched, as I told you, a 5 ERA. Could we have something with Texas today? Because there are going to be a lot of right-handed batters where Kikuchi has struggled this season. I got to do some looking into this afternoon. So I'm writing down the Rangers going up against the Angels here today as a team total possibility, no doubt about it. I just want to get more in-depth scenarios here on Yusei Kikuchi with just going up against right-handed batters, which is going to face just about everybody in that lineup outside of Corey Seager, who actually has a lot of ISO power success against lefties on the young season. Good. Glad we saw that game. Next game up on the docket here. Chicago Cubs, Shota Imanaga versus Randy Vasquez. I told you already, I took this game over the total at 7.5. It's now listed at 8. I'm going to keep it simple in this one. Forget about the batters who are decent on both sides. Don't get me wrong. But how about this? Randy Vasquez, I have 28th out of 29 pitchers on the card today, xFIP-wise. It's high, 6.32, astronomical. Is it low innings on the season at 15.2? Yes, it is. But his ERA of 1.72 and an xFIP of 6.32 doesn't line up. He's due to get blasted. Same thing like Taijuan Walker was yesterday. You take a look at Shota Imanaga, 2.70 ERA. Boy, that's great. How about his xFIP number on the season? Just right up against 5 at 4.97 through 23 1/3 innings pitched. That's why. We're not taking a look at the actual statistics on the field. It's what the pitchers are doing in the underlying value, which it looks like both of these guys should get hit tonight. The 7.5s have turned into 8s when most people would just look at the ERA and be like, why did that go higher? That's why it went higher. That's why we got it early, 7.5. Final game on the card tonight, which I actually didn't handicap at all, and we'll do that together. It's Feltner versus Knack. So if I take a look on the card today, let's go in reverse of this one. Last game on the card, 10-10 tonight. Feltner's got 68 batters he's faced, struggling a little bit against lefties, which will get you in trouble. Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Conforto would automatically be looks along with Tommy Edman. So whenever you see the Dodgers, it feels like they're always in play, doesn't it? Like no matter what happens, you probably want to get them in. But let me see where Feltner comes up on the card today with some xFIP numbers. Is he high on the... Wow, he is. He's 5th. 16 innings pitched, a 2.81 ERA, and a 3.14 xFIP number. So there you go. It's tough to sort of slide by, per se, but that tells you a lot. Is that something to turn you off? Could be. Landon Knack on the mound today. Only 15 batters faced this year. Busted up. Last year, not a great season. But then again, it's the Colorado Rockies lineup. Now, is this one of those games? Because Knack's not on the card. You just go and take the Colorado Rockies team total. Like, they're so bad. They got a couple runs last night. Can you trust it? But some of those aren't even sweats. They're just anger that you actually took that game last night. So I don't want to outsmart myself and just go, you know what? It's always going to be the Dodgers at this point, because technically it usually is. That's when you just might want to file under thank goodness it's up so late tonight that I won't be actually watching or doing anything at that point. There you go. By the way, let me change my quality. I'm watching through YouTube right now. Bump that up. There we go. Looks clean right now. I got the blue shirt on today. Little pastel. Obviously, with the show on the radio, I don't have to wear a jacket, so I just keep the collar nice and tight here as we go along. But I'm excited for today's card. There is no doubt about it. We got action to have here. You know, Marlins, Diamondbacks, a circle maybe on the Pirates just with O'Neal Cruz. You got the Orioles down there, as well as the Guardians with a nice little, stack up top. Tampa Bay and Boston, maybe we'll take a look into that. The New York Yankees tonight, always a favorite, maybe a team total for them. You also take a look at the New York Mets. So it's a Yankees-Mets lineup today that I like. And also a team total here listed on the Rangers. There's spots to make money. We're involved already. Follow me at RightSideVP. Anything more that comes out, we're going to be on it. Love handicapping with you guys. We're going to do it all week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. JP behind the wheels of steel. It's your boy Donnie Rightside on a solo mission today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Ask any woman and she'll tell you all men are afraid of commitment.
Clearly, she's never met a SportsGrid listener.